Good morning, everybody. It is a Sunday, the 18th of September 2022. It is 8 a.m. and this is the NZ Travel Show.
And this is Robin, and I'm Laura, and we're the team behind NZPocketGuidecom, which is New Zealand's largest travel guide because it literally has thousands and thousands of articles to help you plan the perfect trip to New Zealand. And yeah, it has all the free information on the website, so make sure you check that out. But in the meantime, welcome to the NZ Travel Show, where you guys can ask your New Zealand travel questions directly in the live chat, and we go through every single comment that we get, answer all the questions, and if you do miss the show, however, you can always put it in the comments section of any of our YouTube videos.
Indeed. Okay, so good news today. Big news today here in New Zealand. So, now travelers do not need to be vaccinated to come to New Zealand. There is no more pre-departure tests. So we are making our way to the new normal. It is pretty exciting.
Getting a little bit easier now.
Yeah. All right. So the way this live session works, this live show works, is as usual. We will go over all the questions you have, in the live chat. So it starts with Anthony Comstock from Rodeo, California.
Yeah, Anthony is saying, Morena from Rodeo, California. I will be coming to New Zealand and arriving on October the 22nd in Auckland.
Ooh, exciting.
For 3 weeks. Awesome. I'm so glad to hear that some people are managing to make their way to New Zealand, and especially some of our lovely Patreons, as Anthony is one of them.
Yes. What does Morena means, Laura?
It means good morning in the Maori language.
Indeed. All right, so we have Chris Bully, which says, good morning, Rob and Laura. Oh, we are on the nickname basis right now. I'm Rob for him. I like it.
Did you pronounce his second name wrong, right or wrong? Because I
Bully?
remember we were talking about that in one of the other live shows where he was. I think it was Bewley, but I've forgotten now, so we're probably butchering it all over again.
Speaking of name to butcher, we have Holzig91 from Germany. So yeah, how are you doing, mate?
Hello.
Guten Nacht, I think, for you, because it probably is the evening. What is Nathan having to say?
Nathan is saying, Kia ora, everyone. I have been rewatching all of 365 biggest gap year videos. Awesome.
That's a lot of them.
To be fair, we did rewatch one of those videos the other day, and yeah, we were cringing a little bit on the.
We were young, but that's fine.
Episode 1, when you're seeing the first videos that you've ever put on YouTube, it was kind of.
Yeah, we did rewatch just the first one, just for the funnies, and yeah, that
but
was
I think
kind of funny.
we ourselves will need to have a good rewatching session.
Yeah,
on it
one day we need to do that. Yeah. Okay, we have Adil that says Kia ora, Robin, Laura, and all the viewers. I like that. That's very lovely. Lawrence, another one of our amazing supporter on Patreon. She says Kia ora, Laura, Robin, and everyone. We have Siok Cheong that says, good morning from Singapore. It's 4 a.m. What the hell are you doing at 4 a.m. awake?
I love your commitment to our live show right now.
You better have super important questions to ask us about traveling in New Zealand, because why would you wake up that early no matter what? That is insane. Okay, Clay is here. That's been a while. Clay has been a bit absent for the last couple of weeks, probably enjoying the fact that New Zealand is getting some more clement weather lately. Winter is slowly over. So yeah, how are you doing, Clay? What's up in Dunedin? Chris Bewley says that I mispronounced it, obviously, but it's
early. Yeah, we'll blame it on that.
What is Seok saying?
Seok is saying, thank you for the very helpful content you have been sharing. No problem, Seok.
Very happy to help. Any questions, go ahead, put them in the live chat. We are here to help.
I do very much like the username of the next person here saying, Auntie Lou's Fancy Stampers.
Do you want me to give her an award? Is that an early morning award?
I think so.
Auntie Lou, here's an award for you. Woo! Yeah.
Is there a jingle with this one?
Yeah, there's music and everything. The music's still on, and now it's over.
Okay,
go for it.
Cool. Well, congratulations, Auntie Lou's Fancy Stampers. You have got the best username of this live show.
How much is it worth? Does it have any cash value, Laura?
It has little to no value. It's up to you to put value on that prize yourself. So, Auntie Lou's is saying, hi there from Buckeye, Arizona, USA. We will be coming to New Zealand on October 4th.
Oh,
Ooh,
nice.
Exciting times.
A lot of people are coming around the October period. Like we actually started, like, so for our Patreon supporters, you know, they have like a lot of perks. They have access to Facebook group and everything. But we also started a little bit of a calendar in which you can put like when you're going to be traveling in New Zealand and meet other of our Patreon subscribers. It's a lot of fun, and it looks like a lot of people are coming like the October, November kind of time
It's a
period.
good time
very
to
popular,
come to New
yeah.
Zealand, yes.
Yeah. All right, and obviously today we do have the question of the day, because what would be a New Zealand travel show without the question of the day? I'm asking you, Laura, what would it be?
It would be nothing, especially if
nothing.
you didn't do a little song to go with it.
Question of the day, woo! Question of the day, yay! It's the question of the day.
I mean, I should be careful what I wish for, really.
Yeah, I know. I mean, honestly, that is ridiculous, Laura. You are inflicting this thing on people like completely randomly.
It is all my fault.
All right, so the question of the day today is, how many pieces of luggage are traveling with you to New Zealand? So are you an overpacker, basically? So are you coming to New Zealand with just a carry-on? Are you coming with the classic carry-on plus a check-in luggage? Are you coming with the carry-on and 2 check-in luggage? Or are you coming with even more than that?
And if you are coming with more, let us know.
I
what
know,
else you're
like, are you
bringing?
bringing a cow so you can milk it yourself along the way, because you are very peculiar in what kind of milk you're getting? Yes,
Yeah, and
yes, you know who I'm talking about.
There's not enough cows in New Zealand.
So yeah, I really want to know right now if you're packing more than just what I put. I want to know. All right, what is Auntie Lou having to say?
Auntie Lou is saying, so excited, lots of cousins to visit.
Lots of
Nice.
cousins. Interesting. I want to know more. Where are your cousins located in New Zealand? What is Nathan having to say?
Nathan says, it looks like a lot of people are coming during the October school holidays, which start at the end of the month. Yeah, good thing to know, guys, at the end of October is the New Zealand...
At the end of September,
Oh,
the school holiday starts.
Oh, okay,
it starts
sorry.
last week of this month, I think.
Yes, so end of September,
Clay,
beginning
please
of
help.
October.
You have kids. Tell us when the holiday starts.
It's always good to know when the school holidays are if you are visiting more... I'd say more popular tourist attractions. They're more likely to be a bit busier during the New Zealand and Australian school holidays.
All right, so Seok says, I understand New Zealand is mainly cash-free these days. What would I still need cash for? I'm trying to figure out how much cash to exchange for my family of 4 to visit in November. Oh, November, again, we keep on talking about that period. Well, Seok, we actually had a discussion during the Patreon live session, actually, about cash and cards recently. But yeah, so you can still use cash for pretty much everything in New Zealand. So the good thing about cash is that it will save you a lot on like exchange rate and transaction fees and all these kind of things, right? So genuinely you can take as much cash as you want out, and that will simplify your trip around New Zealand, just because when you're going to be paying with your overseas credit card, you may be charged some extra fees both from the merchant and from your bank as well. Now, what are the things that you would specifically will absolutely need cash for in New Zealand? I'd say that would be the city buses, some of the parking, depending on the town, a lot of them would accept the card, but some of the parking meters will need cash.
If you're
Anything
visiting
else?
some markets, for
Yes,
instance?
the markets will be one of those. Yeah, so that's kind of like the thing that you will absolutely specifically need cash for.
Yeah.
I don't think anything else comes to mind of like something you will not be able to pay by any other means. However, again, you know, even just doing your groceries and everything with cash would maybe just better for you as an overseas traveler. So perhaps that's something you want to consider and get yourself a little bit extra out. Don't be left without anything. And also, you know, sometimes, you know, if there is a bug and everything, it has happened actually a couple of months ago. We were going to shop in town. We don't go to town too often, but we went to go shop in town, and the FPOS terminals, which are basically the electronic financial processing operating system, whatever, the little machine where you put your card in there, they were all down. The cardy machine. The cardy machine was down, and therefore pretty much nobody could pay unless you were paying by cash. So for that reason, sometimes maybe a good idea to have some cash around, because you as a traveler probably wouldn't have the luxury to be able to get back there the day after, as you usually kind of on the move. So that may make your life a little easier. All right, so it's obviously just our take on that. So Clay says on the 1st of October the school holiday starts. So I stand corrected. It was the beginning of the month, not at the end of this month.
Thanks for the input, Clay.
Yes. All right, so Clay also says, I'm good. She's an absolute pillar of a day here today. Perler, okay. For now. It's Dunedin. It's going to change in 10 minutes. I've been busy in the last couple of weeks finishing a fence for dog, and last week was recovering from a festival we had here. All right.
Did you host your own festival, or was that in a Dunedin festival?
It's the clay degustation of Whiskey Connoisseur Festival, where we go through 20 bottles.
It could have been a festival in his back garden. I mean,
well, I got a new fans to celebrate.
I know.
New fans, new dog. That's what celebrating. Yes. All right, so what is Mr. Bewley having to say?
Chris says, I'm going with just one carry-on and one checked luggage because AAT Kings has a 23 kg limit on checked luggage. Yes.
Yeah, so AAT King, if you guys don't know, it's one of those big, super tall kind of bus company that will do set tours around New Zealand, and they have tours that range from 1 week to like a month, traveling around, and they usually tend to have the same luggage limits that what your airline will have, because people are kind of expected to get off the plane, stay 1 or 2 nights in Auckland, in a hotel room, and then jump on the bus and being able to carry all their luggage. So they usually kind of mirror what major airlines luggage allowance are. So you can't usually on the bus tour book extra luggage unless you are taking coach buses such as Intercity, and at that point you can check an extra luggage if you need to carry something such as an extra bag, a bike, a surfboard and all that. But still, even those are subject to space availability, so sometimes you're not able to take your surfboard, and that is not great. All right, so we also have some people kind of pitching in onto what they are taking into New Zealand. JT says take one backpack and one small carry-on. Well, that's the basic.
Standard,
it's standard. I like that. Very simple. What is Ontilu having to say?
She says they live in Auckland, Hamilton, Wellington, Nelson, Christchurch, and Invercargill. My grandma stayed in Canada after coming from Scotland. Most of her siblings emigrated to New Zealand. Wow, that's
and she'll be there for 5 weeks, a dream vacation. Yeah. I even feel like 5 weeks is not enough to see all those places and have your family.
That's a good spread out of people. That will get you seeing quite a lot of the country.
You're gonna have a blast, don't you, Lou? That's really awesome.
Yeah.
What is Holzig's question?
Holzig says, my question is, what if I'm not hiking on one of the major hiking routes where there are camping sites from the dock? Can I pitch my tent for one night in a suitable place, or is that forbidden everywhere? So, yeah, the major hiking routes that you would be referring to would be the Great Walks. So they're kind of, branded as the New Zealand Great Walks, which consist of, for example, the Routeburn Track, the Milford Track, the Tongariro Circuit, etc. So anything under that sort of category, you certainly cannot camp anywhere unless there's a specific campsite on that track. But for other hiking trails that are managed by the Department of Conservation, you can pitch a tent anywhere along the trails, unless there is any sort of it's always a good idea to just double check on the Department of Conservation website. If you are doing a trail, just double check.
You can double check if you want.
Double check,
if you really, really love the hike, you can do it twice.
I would just say double check that there's no sort of, maybe any bylaws that they would put on that specific trail, because, the dock there's different rules in different regions sometimes, but in general, yes, you can pitch a tent wherever you want along the trail, as long as you are doing a dock trail, it's on dock land, and there's otherwise no other restrictions.
We do have more information for you on NZ Pocket Guide, and if you want to find this information, you go on NZPocketGuidecom. It's completely free, and then you click on accommodation, and then after clicking on accommodation, you click on camping and holiday park, and there we have a lot of camping tips and everything like that may be very helpful to you into understanding a little bit how camping, the outdoors in New Zealand kind of work, and all those bylaws and
we do have a guide to I think it's entitled the Guide to Multiday Backpacking in New Zealand, and that has a few sort of more of a clarification of what I've just said, more in the written form. So if you just want to see that sort of in writing as well, check out that article.
You're still on screen. I'm showing the article.
Okay. So you can find it under, actually, I think it would be better to just search that one. So Multi-Day Backpacking. So I can't see where you are on there.
Yeah, you're there. So I literally search Multi-Day.
Cool. And have you found it?
Yep, it's there.
Cool.
First one.
So just check out that article. And yeah, it has a lot of tips going through there, and other tips that might help with what to pack, that sort of thing. Links to the dock website and all that sort of useful information. So yeah, we have a whole categories about hiking, and as some people from the US would call it, backpacking, but actually in New Zealand, people generally use the term backpacking for people traveling around the country on a budget. So yeah, it's entitled that way just for our US friends as well, so they can find that information.
So again, NZPocketGuidecom, and then in the search bar, just type Multiday. You just saw me doing it on screen. And yeah, using that, you'll be able to find the Multiday backpacking tips in New Zealand, a complete guide. Okay, so Clay is laughing at my idea of doing a Clay festival. Yeah. I mean, with the username GlenCairn as per usual. Okay, Seok says, awesome, thank you for the info. You're very much welcome. Feel free to keep the questions coming as you're planning your trip to New Zealand. We have Auntie Lou that says that she will have a blast, and she also says we have a camper van in the South Island for 2 weeks.
Nice.
That's going to be epic. JT says he's planning on buying New Zealand fashion looking clothes when we get there. Fashion looking clothes in New Zealand. I mean, it's not Paris, right? You do get that, right? So
I hope you like your fleece ponchos.
yeah, I hope you like your fleece ponchos, your short, which are way too short,
your
and
red,
your gum
red
boots.
band gumboots.
Yes, and your gum boots. That's pretty much what New Zealand fashion is all about. I mean,
Merino wool.
Yeah,
possum scarves.
we can ask Clay. I mean, you guys are more than welcome to ask our resident Kiwi right here in the live chat. Clay, what's your notion of fashion? Did I just describe what?
Is that the essence of Kiwi fashion that we described just there?
Yeah, Kiwi Fashion Week. Did I just describe
Kiwi
that very
Fashion
well?
Week. Yeah.
Kiwi Fashion Week is when they pull the shot a little bit more down, so it leaves less to the imagination for a change. That's when they make an effort.
When you get here, you'll see what we mean.
All right, so Holding say, awesome, thank you so much. I will find it. You're very welcome, Holding. Feel free to keep the questions coming. So, you're coming from Germany to New Zealand. You're going to be literally on the other side of the world, and we are happy to guide you and give you some pointers if you want. So Auntie Lou says she has a question.
Yeah, she says, my question is this. Coming from a hot desert climate here in Arizona, 43 degrees Celsius or higher, thanks for putting it in Celsius.
Yes, I appreciate it.
We know it will be cooler for us, and we will dress in layers.
Next one.
Where's the rest
Should
of it?
that be good enough? Base layer, t-shirt, sweater, and jackets.
So yeah, base layer, shirts, sweater, jackets. Yes, that is a good combo of layers. Yeah, you'll definitely, like, if you find it too hot, you'll be able to take your jackets off, your sweater off. Yeah, that's ideal. And yeah, at least you have options to shed layers when you get too hot. Because the thing also with New Zealand climate is that the temperature of how it feels throughout the day does change quite quite frequently and rapidly throughout the day. So when the sun's out, you might feel like you're super warm, but then as soon as the sun goes in, you'll probably feel the chill. So yeah, basically exactly what you said is ideal.
So the one thing that Laura is pointing right here, and the one thing that is really usually tricking people in New Zealand when it comes down to dressing up or dressing down, is really the fact that the weather changes that much. And genuinely, it will be within an hour, sometimes within 30 minutes. You will go from being like sweaty, really, really hot, to be in a windy place with actually like blizzard, like really, really cold. And it happens even literally, where we live. Sometimes we're just in the garden doing a couple of planting the veggies and everything, and then you get back inside, and then half an hour later you're like, oh damn, I forgot this. You go back outside and it's actually freezing, especially when the shade is out. So dressing up with layers, that's the thing that we talk about all the time. And actually I think even a couple of live sessions ago, we just talked about dressing up with layer again. So it's really something that we push quite a lot, and it's extremely critical into and making sure that you're having the best time and not catching a cold. Okay, what is Lawrence having to say?
Lawrence is saying, I'm getting my list of things to pack. Are there anything you did not think of before leaving and you thought, crap, should have brought XYZ?
All right, so obviously I traveled quite a lot, so it's things that sometimes I forget. Well, weirdly enough, the one thing that I'd say to everybody to get is to get a multi-plug, and especially there's some really good travel multi-plug. If you want, Lawrence, I'll send you a link of the well, the US version of the one I used to use. But yeah, I did my first like 5 or 6 travels without that, and every single time I was kicking myself in the butt not having it, just because every time you stay in accommodation and there is always only just one plug and just one of this, one of that, it just makes life so much easier. So yeah, that'd be the one I'm thinking right, like straight on top of my head, the thing I forget all the time, because on top of it they're really light, like it's mostly emptiness, let's be honest. They're really light, and the travel one are quite small as well.
One thing that I remember actually buying when I first got to New Zealand, I realized I didn't pack, was like some clothing for after you have done like water activities, like if you've done blackwater rafting, or if you've just finished doing surfing or something. I felt like when you're traveling around New Zealand and doing a lot of water activities like whitewater rafting as well, getting changed back into your skinny jeans is usually quite a task. You know, when it's just more like if you have some sort of
sweatpants, something like nice sweatpants would be quite handy.
Sweatpants, yeah, exactly. Or, you know, if you've got just some loose fitting clothes. I mean, it's not so bad if you're traveling maybe in summer and you maybe have shorts on, but if you're traveling in the cooler seasons, or if
it's a cool day, right? Which can happen,
it's handy to have some sweatpants available, something like that. Some more cozy, comfortable clothing.
Yeah, and speaking of clothing, like one of the things to keep in mind as well is when you travel, usually you're not having the same rhythm of doing your laundry, like, you know, every week or something like that, right? So, you know, a lot of people decide, I'm just going to get 7 outfits. Just always pick like one more outfit is just always kind of easy, you know, and just having one extra one that you will leave and you kind of tell yourself you're not using until, you know, that you can put it in a separate like little fabric bag or something just on the side, and it's kind of like, oh yeah, I really couldn't find a laundry for the longest time. Now I have access to this one extra things, and you put everything like just panties, socks, shorts and t-shirts, something. Just one like kind of extra one is kind of handy to have.
And when you are traveling New Zealand for an extended period and you do need to use the laundry facilities, if you see any decent laundry machines, use them, because the majority...
That's nothing to do with packing, but that really helps with your packing, yes.
But the majority of like laundry machines in, say, hostels, holiday parks, like, or even motels where they might have like
even laundromat, even like paid laundromats, some of them really, really, really dodgy. So you can like, I'm not paying for that.
There will be the odd accommodation where they do have like a communal laundry facility that has amazing laundry machines compared to some of the other things you've seen around the country. Just as soon as you see them, use them, because it'll be rare until you find another one like that. Because sometimes your clothes don't get like washed really, don't really get washed properly. So if the machine looks good, use it. All right.
Seok says, heli hiking on the Tasman Glacier. How cold is it on the glacier? I wonder if regular hiking pants will work. I'm only used to hiking in Southeast Asia, which is mainly humid and warm. Thank you. Okay, Seok, gears are provided, so you will get shoes, you will get crampons, you will get pants, you will get jackets. So it's not going to be warm. Like, let's be honest, it's not, you're literally standing on ice. I mean, what can I say? That said, in summer you end up shedding the jacket quite fast because there is no shade whatsoever, and the snow is very reflective. And that's something which is quite known, in ski fields and everything like that. That's why they always put a lot of sunscreen, because you get double reflections of the sun. So it can get quite hot, and you will need to wear sunscreen for sure. But obviously, if it's a cloudy day, you're on top of a glacier, it's relatively cold. But the gears are provided, so that's kind of handy.
Exactly.
You don't have to pack like ski pants or anything like that.
Yeah, wear your hiking pants anyway, because you'll either be able to wear them, if they feel like you need extra pants, they'll give you that, and you can. Their hiking pants are usually easy to wear underneath what they give you, so still take them, still wear hiking pants. Yeah,
don't go like commando in the rental pants that they're giving you, right?
I'm basically saying instead of jeans or something, definitely wear hiking pants on the day, rather than jeans or something.
And merino wool socks, like I will advise to have something which is not cotton, because cotton kind of stays cold and warm, so just like those kind of thicker kind of woolen kind of hiking socks. But all your gears are going to be provided. If you actually watch our video of us doing the heli hike on the Tasman Glacier, which is available here on the channel, you will see us literally dress up. We like to show, when we show the activities, we like to show really everything. So you literally see us kind of getting the gears given and everything that would be provided. They even weigh us to see, to split us in between helicopter, which is, Yeah, kind of shocking when we look at Laura's weight. No, I'm joking. Is that the one where I made the joke? Oh no, that's for the skydive Wanaka thing that I made the joke. You know, like I asked the lady to make a reaction.
Yeah, yeah.
So when we did the skydive Wanaka, so they were doing the weight to know which tandem master they will allocate you to. And so we're filming. So I was filming the whole process. As I said, every time we show you guys an activity, we like to show you the whole thing and not just the fun part. And so Laura stepped on the scale, and what I asked the lady, which was like recording all the weights and everything, to just make a big face, and she gave me like one of the biggest face ever. So she's like, oh, it's just so beautiful.
Yeah,
go
check out that
shot.
video.
Yeah.
Skydive Wanaka NZ Pocket Guide.
Anyway,
just search
completely
that,
unrelated, yeah, but
and
that
you'll
was
see,
funny.
You'll see what he's talking about.
That was so funny. Yeah, she was playing ball. That was quite cool. Okay, JT said that all the stubbies and gumboots will look good in Alaska. Are you in Alaska right now? Well, yeah, you'll fit right in, because even
Is JT the Hawaiian in Alaska?
yes, that's true. Hawaii and Alaska. So so yeah, I mean in New Zealand, even in like some of the coldest part in winter, you will see some people in stubbies and singlets, and I don't get it. They're made of different cloth. Those
For
guys.
anyone that doesn't know what stubbies are, because I didn't know what stubbies were until I came to New Zealand, it's basically really short shorts, and the guys wear that. You know, usually you see like girls wearing super short shorts. Well, the guys are in on it too in New Zealand.
Yeah.
You know.
All right. Okay, where are we at? Seok, what did he say?
Seok says Kiwi Fashion Tips is most helpful for us coming from warmer climates.
I think we're talking about clothing and what to wear tips more than fashion tips. Again, we are stretching the definition of fashion to its limit.
The different layers, like what we were talking about with
Don't think that's got anything to do with fashion.
With Auntie Lou talking about the base layer, the shirt, the sweater, the jacket. That is the sort of, clothing, fashion. I don't know if that's fashion, but yeah, that's the sort of clothing that you should definitely consider for New Zealand. But for, Kiwi fashion, like as we're about to say with Clay's also commented just underneath saying stubbies and jandals, swan dry when wet. So swan dry is like a brand of this long sort of fleecy looking poncho thing that a lot of Kiwis wear, and then with shorts and jandals. So yeah, that's kind of like the fashion of New Zealand. I always find it really interesting that like Kiwis wear really warm sort of fleecy jackets on top, but will just be in their shorts on the bottom.
Yes!
They do not feel the cold on their legs. Like
yes, below the waist, no cold.
Below the waist is like, they don't really care about it. They could just be like, I think if it was, acceptable, they would probably just go around like bottomless all the time. But yeah, on the top, they're like, whoa, we need to keep this part warm, core body temperature. Anyway.
All right, so Auntie Lou says, thank you. Your site has been a wonderful help to us. Oh, I'm really glad. Thank you very much, Auntie Lou. Lawrence say, perfect, thanks, Robin. I actually have a multi-plug, but I forgot to put that down. Plenty of comfy pants, though. Okay, good.
Yeah,
she has all the comfy pants. Nathan says, question. With a question emoji, I like it. When is the best time to do the Transalpine and travel down the west coast of the South Islands all the way down to Queenstown?
Ooh, so a lot of people would say that a good time to do the Transalpine would be in winter, because you get to see the Southern Alps as you're taking the train through the Southern Alps. You get to see all the beautiful mountains all under snow. So that is what a lot of people would say is a really beautiful time to do it. However, it depends what else you want to do. On your way down the west coast towards Queenstown, it depends what other activities you want to do, what sort of climate you really want. So the good thing in winter is that actually there's less rain on the west coast in winter than there is in summer. At least that was maybe before. Last couple of years has changed the climate a little bit somewhat, but usually winter is still a good time to travel down the west coast. Like I say, it's usually meant to be a bit less rain compared to summer, but however, if you are more into summer activities, perhaps you want to do, once you get to Queenstown, perhaps you want to do whitewater rafting, that sort of thing, or canyoning. Those sort of activities would not be available in winter. So if you prefer to, if you want to do more water sports, that sort of thing, then you perhaps would want to travel more in the summer season. So yeah, I hope that sort of explains the difference between going in winter and going in summer.
I'd pick winter personally. So and for everybody, like winter in New Zealand is
It is June, July, and August.
Woo! All right, so we have Bhavna Jerin that says, what will be the weather like in January? So I'm going to give you a link in the live chat right now, which we have a full weather explanation in for January right here. But the typical temperature in New Zealand in January are quite high, about 30 degrees Celsius, which is about 86 degrees Fahrenheit, and they go as low as 12 degrees Celsius, which is 54 Fahrenheit, depending on, you know, obviously if it's like, you know, just one of those cold summer day, you know. So the temperature are usually quite clement. It is, you know, the middle of the summer in New Zealand, so we've got to be aware though that New Zealand always has a certain amount of rain, and depending on where you are in New Zealand, even just from the northern New Zealand, which would be like Northland and everything, it will go around 90 millimeters of rain, which is 3.5 inches, all the way down to the south, and like the Fjordland National Park, for example, that will get, or the west coast that Laura was talking about, that will get up to at some point 700 millimeters of rain, which is 27.5 inches. So the New Zealand weather can vary extremely from one to the other, and so yeah, you have like all the different weather pattern explained in the link that I gave you just in the live chat right now. And we were talking a lot about packing. Really, even if you're traveling in New Zealand in January, which is the summer season, you still will need to pack yourself a rain jacket just to make sure that you'll be able to enjoy you know, the weather there. I mean, enjoy all the experiences no matter the weather.
Yes.
But yeah, the New Zealand weather has been much more changeable right now, and I think it's because we just such a narrow island in between two massive body of water, and so therefore we are a little bit more susceptible to you know, the extreme climate changes that is happening right now with global warming. So for that reason, we have way more kind of fluctuation on the weather. So we used to say to be able to kind of tell you guys like, oh yeah, that's usually what the weather is like, and kind of predict it kind of well. But for example, here in this winter, it has been a very clement winter, which we're not really complaining about, but then we're having like so many different El Nino, I think that's what they call it, and so I think we are second or third one right now. So those weather patterns are completely off the chart at the moment, but that's kind of like what I just gave you right here is kind of what we've been relatively expecting and what we've been experiencing in the last few years. So yeah, there is a link in the live chat for you, Bhavna, where there is really everything with all the different regions, all the different average temperatures, all the different rainfall. So peruse this page at your own leisure, and you know, feel free to come up to us with extra you know, follow-up questions if you have any. All right, guys, so just a quick call and just a quick second to say thank you to all our Patreon subscribers. So there is about 22 of you guys that have chosen to join us on Patreon. It's a great place to hang out together, and it's a great way to support all our hard work. So if you do find our website useful, if you do find all our video useful, maybe consider joining us for a month or two. It starts at only $5 a month, and it's a great way to, well, get to know us a little bit more, hang out with us longer. We do 1 extra hour of this live session every single week. We have a secret Facebook group where we hang out with you and answer all your questions about traveling in New Zealand. Yeah, so all our patrons will tell you that we're really active in there as well. We have PDF travel guides available for you, and many more perks. And we try to come up with new perks, or to try to find ways to help even more. Like right now, we are currently working on finding SIM cards, you know, and sending them to people before they traveled in New Zealand. So yeah, we share a lot of slice of life in New Zealand as well. So yeah, if you want to support us and get yourself a lot of awesome perks, there is a link to our Patreon page in the description of this video, so consider joining them. In the meantime, we really want to thank from the bottom of our heart all of our current Patreon. You guys are absolutely awesome. All right, let's go back to the wrong one here. Let's go back to the live chat. What's up?
So one of our, speaking of Patreons, one of our Patreons, Armand, is here saying, Kia ora, do you put sunscreen every time you set foot outside during the day? I'd say that's
that's a bit of a stretch, not that much.
Not
but,
every
yeah.
time we set foot out the door, but certainly between November, well, even midway through October. So midway through October, November, December, January, February, March, those months. If you are planning to be outside for more than half an hour, you're planning on being outside for a little bit, definitely we would put the sunscreen on. The UV rays, probably you already know this, Armand, that's why you're asking the question, but for anyone that doesn't know, the UV rays, the UV index is really high in New Zealand compared to the rest of the world. If you usually don't wear, high factor sunscreen, usually if you're in your home country, you're usually fine with, SPF 15 and you never get burnt. Well, that's unlikely to be the case in New Zealand. You are probably going to get burnt, even if you don't usually get sunburn. The UV levels are very high. So that's why, like I say, if it's sort of those months that are going from sort of in summer and around summer, those months, we usually do put sunscreen on when we are spending more than half an hour outside. And also if you are on, if you're going to alpine areas, even in ski fields, that sort of thing, even in winter, when you go higher in altitude, you're more likely to get sunburn as well. So just for those sort of situations, if you're going to high altitudes, then sunscreen is always recommended, no matter what the season is, really. But sunscreen, definitely have it in your day pack for reapplying, and there may be days where it's cloudy, where, sometime in summer when it's cloudy, you can still get sunburnt through the clouds. Bear that in mind as well. Reapply sunscreen after you've done water activities.
So we have Aiko that says, hi from Oregon, USA. Do you know any town in Oregon?
Do I? I feel like this is a question. I feel like this is a trick question. Do I know any?
I don't know any.
No, I don't either.
What's the town? What's the capital city of Oregon? I actually do not know any town or. Yeah, I just know it sounds like oregano and sounds yummy. I like it. All right.
As they would say in the US, oregano.
Oregano. Interesting. All right. So Seok says, when it rains, is it more like steady drizzle like in the UK, or is it heavy tropical rain?
It's heavy rain,
Both.
usually.
It's both. You have both. You genuinely have both.
Yeah, you do have both, so don't rule any out. But it's more, I think, from my observations, it is usually short, heavy showers is more what New Zealand weather, what the rain in New Zealand is like. But yeah, like Robin says, there's days where it can drizzle all day as well. So yeah, a bit of both, really.
Yeah, but usually
Seattle. Oh yeah, we've heard of
Seattle. Seattle is in Oregon? I thought that was a state, Seattle. Wow.
Our US geography is not that great, is it?
Yeah, well, we're here to talk about...
Oh, sorry, wrong state, but close. After a quick Google.
Oops, sorry, I said something wrong. Okay, well, listen, we're here to talk about the geography of New Zealand, if you guys want to. I'm just thinking, when I just saw that, because I've heard, obviously, of the state of Oregon, and usually I can pinpoint, one of them. So Flickbeckistan says Seattle is in Washington. So Washington is
Portland,
Washington.
Oregon. There you go.
Here Portland. Yeah. I know Portland because there is this Darth Vader guy on the unicycle playing the bagpipe.
What?
So yeah, I know Portland. Stay weird, Portland. You know what? I know about Portland because I'm hanging out on Reddit, so I know Portland.
Stay weird, Portland.
Yes, I know Portland. I just don't know where to point it out on the map. But I've definitely heard of Portland.
Okay.
Yes. Anyway, I think that's where the unipipe guy is. The unicycle bagpipe boy. I think that's where he is.
Yeah. I don't know what you're referring to.
Okay. Well,
it sounds
correct
fun.
me, US viewers. Correct me if I'm wrong or not. But I think that's where this guy is.
Lawrence says, they're close enough. I was almost right.
Yeah. I mean, from New Zealand, with that far away, when you squint a little bit, it's all a mush. So for us, it's close enough. It works, When we look at the US over there from where we are, we're like, it's close enough. Yeah, definitely. Okay, Baby Burns is having a bit of a signature intro right here.
Yeah, saying, sup, guys. Sup.
All right. So yeah, we got completely sidetracked right here. We were talking about the New Zealand weather, but yeah. So I may just start a bit of a new series of videos where I'm gonna dive a little deeper. Like, so I've done a lot of kind of guides videos where I've kind of skimmed over a little bit, a lot of information on certain subjects, and I may start a new video series where I'm going to dive a little bit deeper into each subject. And I think we're going to be doing some of the New Zealand weather for sure, because it's always kind of a question which is very much recurring with you guys. So yeah, we'll definitely go over that shortly. But yeah, so again, the way this live session works is that you ask your questions in the live chat and then we answer them. So until you guys asking us some questions, I will tell you what is coming up on the channel this week. Oh no, Baby Burns has a question then.
A bit more deeper. How are you guys at the moment? Weather is getting greater, right? Yeah, I mean it's getting.
Finally, I mean I can get outside without being completely drenched. That's a positive trait.
Yeah, after we've had a lot of rain this winter, I feel like now is finally that it's getting we're having some more sunny, dry days. So yeah, that's always fun. That's always better for when you want to get outdoors and do stuff. So yeah. It is getting good.
Fleabekistan is asking a very lengthy question, which can be summed up with: is Rotorua smelly? Does it stink? Anyway, jokes aside, Fleabekistan says, sorry if you answered this question before, but I've heard that there is a bad sulfur smell in Rotorua. We will be staying there 4 days. Will we get used to it?
Yes, you will.
Absolutely. It will take you an hour and a half, 2 hours to get used to it.
And it's only in certain parts of the town. Like, you might just get a bit of a whiff, like, oh, it's a weird eggy smell. But, yeah, you get used to it.
And speaking of our videos, right, I did a video about, like, tips, things you should know before you visit Rotorua. And I published it a couple of weeks ago. And, sorry. Oh, thank you. Merci. Look at her, so bilingual right here. She's a worldly lady. And so the first thing that I say in this video with tips about traveling in Rotorua is that you shouldn't be too scared of the smell, and you shouldn't shorten your stay in Rotorua.
Embrace the smell.
It really is not that bad. Obviously some people do make a fuss out of it, especially if you just travel by bus around New Zealand. You literally just hop off over there for doing an activity and you leave afterward. Literally the thing you're going to remember is the fact that Rotorua did smell bad.
Stinky place.
But it's a great place if you are into Mexican food though. Jokes aside, Rotorua is a fantastic place to hang out at because, well, nobody will know any better if those beans are coming out. So here you go. That's a great place to experience Mexican food without any of the side effects, or at least the social faux pas that goes with the side effect of it.
Speaking from experience.
But yeah, no, Rotorua doesn't smell that bad at all. But that's true. There is the easy smell. And also, it's kind of interesting. It will depend. And we just talked about the weather quite a lot. It will depend also on the day, because depending on the wind pattern, sometimes you have absolutely no wind, and so the smells just stay there. Sometimes the wind is going towards your accommodation. There is a big van just right here, and so your accommodation is going to stink, but the hotel next door may not. So there is actually some interesting patterns right here, and sometimes the local will tell you, say, it's just a really standstill, like hot summer day, and then it's just not the best.
And then they'll be able to tell, that's a southerly coming in. That's where
they're like, finally. Or they can say, the guy just 2 streets away over there, he's having Mexican food. You can tell.
Yeah, maybe.
All right, speaking of our lovely Patreon, what is Chris and Claire having to say?
Says, I couldn't wait for the smell in Rotorua. I did not mind it last time I was there. Well, there you go.
I wouldn't say I can't wait for it. I wouldn't say I'm looking forward to it when I go to
the main reason to go to Rotorua, really, is to go smell it. I mean, there's not many, It's usually part of the senses when traveling that's often overlooked. People travel for the tastes, for the sights, for, human connections, but not many people travel for the smell.
Chris and Claire travel for the smell of Rotorua. That's what they seek as an experience.
I like that.
If you seek, as Tourism New Zealand does anyway, if you seek the smell of an old sink, then head to Rotorua.
You should definitely do the tourism campaigns.
I definitely should be working for them. Yes. Yeah, I don't know why they're not hiring me.
I don't know either.
Yeah. And actually, somebody else is pitching in. We have Clay, which is a local. He's living in Dunedin, so quite far away from Rotorua, but obviously traveling over there, and he say for about 5 minutes you notice the smell and then you get used to it. And honestly, as I said, I say an hour, but you get used to it quite
depends
fast.
on how sensitive your nose is to smells. I can't smell anything really, but Robin can smell everything.
Yeah, and I live with Laura, so I start getting used to those kind of
As soon as I finished that sentence, I was like, this is going to backfire on me, isn't it?
Well, you did know that it was happening, so therefore it's your fault technically. So I am not to be blamed.
No,
for sure,
not.
for sure. All right, but that's something that quite a lot of people are asking. And to be fair, actually, sometimes I personally feel that it smells bad more in some of the Topo geothermal park than we will smell in Rotorua. The Crater of the Moon actually smells particularly pungent compared to like a lot of other geothermal parks. No, personally,
I haven't personally noticed.
Or maybe it's because you kind of like you leave kind of the whole area which is kind of smelly, and then it smells fresh, and then you go to like the Crater of the Moon, then you really smell really, really bad. So I think that I would actually say that it's more kind of taking you by surprise when you go to a geothermal area which is not in Rotorua, where there is a lot of them, and so it's kind of like it just sneaks up on you, right?
Yeah.
Well, in Rotorua it doesn't really sneak up on you. You go to a geothermal park, it was stinking in the city, it's stinking here. It's kind of like just it just kind of stays like that.
Yeah. Do we need to do like a ranking of the smelliest places in New Zealand? I feel like this is a hot topic today.
Bus station toilet. Number 1.
The Hundawasa toilets in Bay of Islands. Anyway.
Gadi says, Gadi probably has a question about the Abel Tasman National Park, but we'll let Gadi kind of get themselves ready.
But in the meantime,
Bafna
saying, now I change my mind on moving to Rotorua after knowing about this smell.
No, we just said it doesn't smell bad, Bafna.
It's fine if you move there. And also, it's like...
Rotorua is great.
A lot of the geothermal activity is actually happening in the city centre of Rotorua. That's not where most people live.
Yeah.
Most people live on, there's a lot of suburbs, a lot of places around town that you can live, and you can live in a less smellier area. Don't be put off.
And again, we talk about the smell, but every kind of town and places has somewhat of a smell. You just get used to it. You know what I mean? Like, it's normal,
What
mate.
other smells have you smelled around New Zealand? What are you referring to?
No, it's just kind of like, like there's different places have different kind of vibes and stuff like that. Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of farming towns.
Yeah. If you go to a coastal town, it will smell like, sea breeze and fish and everything like that. It will smell like that. Not fish, but you know what I mean. Like it has like a kind of a smell. You get used to it, and sometimes it's for good and for bad. Some people would be like, be like, oh yeah, I love the smell of this place. You're like, yeah, I don't know, I live here, I don't care. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's just that.
It's like if you live in Taupo, it smells like trout everywhere.
Yes.
You live in Tuatapere, it smells like sausages everywhere.
If you live near Laura, it smells like Rotorua everywhere. All right, Gadi says.
Abel Tasman in the 1st of March. You can still swim? Hi and thanks.
I feel like you all those of questions is very intriguing, Gadi. I like it.
1st of March. That's coming. That is really like. So summer is.
That's the first day of autumn, isn't
exactly,
it?
Yeah. So summer is, the last month of summer is February. That's when it's still quite warm, and actually it's still quite warm going through to March as well. So yeah, I think it would be perfectly fine to go swimming in Abel Tasman in March.
And to be fair, this area of New Zealand is one of the areas in New Zealand with the highest amount of sunshine hour per year. So it's kind of basically like the hottest kind of part of New Zealand. Not really hottest, but like the sunniest part of New Zealand. So unless you obviously like want like, South Pacific Island style temperature of your water, if you want tropical water temperatures, then you're not going to find that pretty much anywhere in New Zealand, right? But aside from that, you're definitely going to be able to swim in the Abel Tasman National Park without any problem, for sure. It obviously depends on your tolerance, but I don't think it would be at all of an issue unless you're expecting the tropical.
It's not
islands.
Tropical. Yeah. Clay is giving us an insight into the smells of Dunedin, saying Dunedin smells like burnt couches and booze. Well, that's a very unique smell.
So that's that. So Clay is the spokesperson. Clay is the spokesperson for the Dunedin Tourism Board, as you can see. So yeah, good job.
And also just so for you guys that don't know, Dunedin is probably the most famous student town or student city in New Zealand. So you know what students get up to. They get up to burning couches and drinking lots of booze. So that's
obviously
why,
that's what they did.
Obviously, that everybody knows that. So yeah, that's just a little bit of context to why Dunedin smells as such.
So Seok just joined us on Patreon. That's awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. So yeah, you'll have another hour of this nonsense coming up just right after this, where we'll hang out. There's a few things planned. So yeah,
now you'll be able to wake up at 5 a.m. to join the Patreon live session instead.
Yes, I'm going to check. So if you are joined the Facebook group right now, just I'm going to accept you in there as soon as I see the notification. So yeah, join us. There should be a link within the email you receive on Patreon, the message you receive on Patreon. And as soon as you join us, I will accept you in, so you will be able to ask us pretty much anything you want in the group. And see, like, there's a lot of things that this week, for example, I posted a lot of videos of us driving around, showing roundabouts and what it's like to drive around New Zealand, because that's what you guys were asking about. So yeah, there's plenty. Oh, it was so cool that you're joining us on Patreon. That's really cool. So yeah, stay with us for a couple of months, and then you'll be all ready for your trip in November. So is that what you were saying? 4th of November? Is that when Seok is traveling? I need to keep all those in mind.
There's a lot of dates that have been said today.
Family of 4 in November. No, not the 4th of November. Family of 4 in November. There you go.
Confusing.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, therefore, Seok is probably packing way more than just the allowance of luggage. If you're traveling with a family of 4, usually every time I see families at the airport, I'm like, I don't even have the strength to carry that many bags. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So speaking of packing bags, that is the question of the day. Question of the day. Woo. Question of the day.
Yeah.
Question of the
Day. we need to maybe do a rehearsal.
No, we don't. It's way more fun that way. All right, so today we're asking you the question of the day right here in the live show. And so we're asking you, how many pieces of luggage will you be traveling to New Zealand with? So you've got the option of coming in New Zealand with just a carry-on plus a check-in bag, carry-on plus 2 check-in bags, or even more. And if you're packing more than that, we want to know what you're bringing into New Zealand and why the hell
are you smuggling?
We're not talking about that. The news has not been clement about that lately, so we're not joking about this kind of thing here. But yeah, so we want to know. There's about like 10 minutes for you guys to vote on that, and then we'll look at the results all together. So make sure that if you haven't voted yet, you make your voice heard for sure. So make sure that you go right now in the live chat and you make your vote count, because every single vote counts, because we don't have that many viewers. So actually, genuinely, every vote counts.
And
which is
everyone's voice is heard, since we go
Yes.
through every single one of the comments.
Exactly.
Unless YouTube decides to delete it or not show
Yes.
it randomly.
Yeah, like for
Because,
example, like Clay said. So for example, the comment that we just got from Clay that says Dunedin smells like burnt couches and booze, literally was censored by YouTube, and I had to click.
Had to review it
Yes.
and accept the comments.
Yes, I mean, how dare you say the words couches?
Or booze.
Yeah, but couches, that's shocking, Clay. I mean, come on.
Burnt.
Behave yourself.
Dunedin, maybe.
I think it's Dunedin. I'm joking. Dunedin is a great place to visit. By the way, any of you guys are going to be visiting Dunedin? Auntie Lou, you're going to be traveling for 5 weeks, including 2 weeks in the camper van in South Island.
Yeah.
Will you go to Dunedin or not? Okay, so what is Seok having to say? Our newest Patreon, I can say that. That's a cool title to have.
We're planning on 2 large duffels and 1 piece of luggage with backpacks for our 2-week trip, 22nd of November to the 7th of December. The husband refuses to carry more luggage than that. So 2 large duffels, a piece of luggage with backpacks.
So wait. So
Are
2
the
large
backpacks
duffel bags,
in
1
the
piece of
luggage?
luggage, 2 backpacks. That is... Yeah, but traveling as a family of 4, though, they have kids. That is kind of reasonable. Yeah, I mean, to be quite honest with you, Seok, I arrived in New Zealand and I was coming here for a gap year. I arrived with the carry-on. that is it, right? So
Would you
traveling
say
really
that's
light.
too little? Or?
No, I was happy with it. That was perfectly fine.
Well, we certainly travel with more than that now. To be
Yes.
fair, between us two, we don't actually
Exactly.
pack that much. Like, yeah.
So with the two of us, including all our gears for work, which has all our cameras, all our laptops and all that, we literally have a whole, and all our snorkeling gear and everything. So we're going to be talking about, so we also cover a lot of the South Pacific Islands around, right? So when we travel there, we pack all our our snorkeling gears, all our computers, all our cameras, drones, and all the accessories that we need for work, and all extra batteries and all that. So basically the whole carry-on is just mostly just work gear, and so together we literally just have one check-in piece of luggage. That's what we pack usually when we travel. So at two people we have one carry-on and one carry-on, so that's two carry-on. Laura usually takes a backpack and I take all the carry-ons, and then we have one check-in piece of luggage. So that's usually what we travel with when we travel for work around.
And one thing to note,
internationally,
not
internationally.
But one thing to note as well, for those of you maybe that don't know, maybe you haven't taken that many international flights, that although you have your official carry-on and your official check-in luggage, you can also carry an extra small bag. Like you can carry a handbag or a purse, you can carry a camera bag or a laptop bag. So if you want to, that is not included as that's not considered a carry-on. So anyone that doesn't know that, I just think there's another little handy tip to know. You can take an extra handbag or laptop bag or camera bag.
Siok, just put that in the Facebook group. Just ask for some packing tips, and I'll actually give you a link to the video where we literally spend an hour packing our bags and just kind of showing how we pack our bags just before our previous trip. So yeah, just no, you haven't asked to join the Facebook group yet, but as soon as you join the Facebook group, just ask that, and I will just give you the link, and you'll be able to watch that and just hang out with us. Okay, Bruno Soares says, "Hi guys, hug from Brazil." I like that. Oh, big hug. Obrigado.
Give you hugs back.
So he says, "Is travel declaration necessary when I already have an NZETA?"
Yeah, so a travel declaration is necessary for anyone traveling to New Zealand, even if you've already got an NZETA. So the same conditions apply, where you need to fill up your travel declaration a certain number of days before you're traveling. So it is 28 days since we last looked. However, that information has been changing recently, so we are going to update the website of our travel declaration page on NZPocketGuide.com.
How many hours do you think until this article is updated for Bruno?
It's going to be updated like 30 minutes after the live session.
Here you go. So
by 9:30.
In 38 minutes from now, Bruno, just head to the page I'm going to give you, and you should be all good. So I'm just going to go on the hub. No, not this one. I'm losing my mind. Here you go. So I'm going on NZ Pocket Guide right here, and I'm going to type traveler declaration right here, just right on top right here in the search bar. And then you have a guide to the New Zealand Traveller Declaration and Passenger Arrival Card. So you click on here in about 38 minutes and you'll have a fully updated version of that article that Laura will work for you. So yeah, 38 minutes, mate. So NZPocketGuide.com, go there and put us on the timer. So if we're wrong, come back here, comment, and just tell us, you guys didn't go fast enough. It's not updated yet.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So yeah,
pressure, Laura, pressure.
The short answer to your question is yes, you do still need to do a traveller declaration.
Oh, sorry, you're not on screen at all.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, now you are.
Okay, so the short answer to your question is that yes, you do need to do a traveller declaration, even if you have got an NZETA. And the reason we're just talking a little bit about that article right now is that there has been some recent updates just on, what we'll actually go through a little bit soon on the updates there have been to, the arrival requirements for New Zealand. So we're implementing those updates to that page. Well, basically 30 minutes after this live session is over.
38 minutes. Not
38 minutes.
Yes. Don't overpromise. Don't overpromise.
Yeah.
Just checking something quickly. Okay, here you go. Okay, so I was just prepping for Lawrence's question because I did not know. I lost track of time.
Okay.
Seok, I just approved you in the group, so here you go. You are there now. What is Lawrence saying?
Lawrence says, how long have you guys been doing the live sessions for? Just checking YouTube for packing videos, and some of those date back 4+ years. Wow.
Yes, so this is live session number 194. So count 194 weeks, plus and minus some of them where we were traveling overseas or doing these kind of things. So yeah, about 4 years. That sounds about right, which is a lot. Thank you very much for making me feel super old. I appreciate that, Lawrence. Yeah, good. Thank you. You've just ruined my day. We'll have a chat, you and I, during the Patreon live session right here. Do not remind me how old I am and how long I've been doing things.
Yeah.
I don't deal well with age. Jokes aside, yeah, so we obviously have been doing that for quite a while. I've been in New Zealand for about 12 years now, and I've been in the tourism industry for pretty much all along, and I've been helping travelers for pretty much all the time. So yeah, we've done a lot around New Zealand, and we've gave a lot of tips, so that's why... That's why we're pretty comfortable getting pretty much any questions live, and we don't feel like we need to prepare. Like every time. Sometimes we do a quick research, you get something accurate and up to date, but we're not feeling too much of the stress, and that's why we call or brand ourselves as the New Zealand travel expert, just because we really have been doing that for quite a while. So yeah, feel free to pick our brains and make your trip even better. That's the whole goal.
We've even been doing these live sessions throughout the whole COVID pandemic.
Yeah.
Even when the borders were fully closed, we were here every single Sunday. There were people dreaming of their trips still, but unable to travel. So yeah, we've been here the whole time. so yeah.
Bruno says, thank you. I love you guys. Oh, that's very lovely. So yeah, again, 38 minutes, mate. Head to the site, and let's put some pressure on Laura a little bit. Okay, but can you please read the apology statement from Lawrence? I deserve an apology statement.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Kudos to you both on that.
Oh, I appreciate that's a strong apologies right here. That's I appreciate that. Strong apology statements right here. I can see that you have a bit of a politician side to yourself. That's very good. Public apologies done. Okay, what is Weya S having to say?
Weya S says, "Hi guys, love your channel. Would we be able to enjoy New Zealand, especially in the South Island, just by bus or public transport, no driving?" Absolutely. Yeah, from personal experience, for the first whole year that I was in New Zealand, I did not have a car whatsoever, and I saw the country, including the South Island, extensively without the use of having to drive anywhere myself. So
now Laura has a private chauffeur, so she's
now
enjoying.
I have a private chauffeur, so. Yeah, but no, there's some really good bus options around the South Island. You can go super cheap with the intercity buses. You can go, you can choose like a hop on hop off bus pass for. It's like a halfway between an intercity bus and halfway between a full bus tour, and also you can do a full sort of fully. Inclusive bus tour. For instance, there's companies like Backyard Roadies, that sort of thing that can take you around the South Island, and they sort of do like everything for you. Most of your meals are included, a load of activities are included. They can basically handle all the driving and take you to
I like Backyard Roadie a lot if you want to just do like kind of like a week or two on the South Island, because they do a lot of like cultural stuff. Like for example, they include like greenstone carving in like near French Joseph. They include like a waka, which is a Maori traditional canoe cruise in Abel Tasman. You will have to paddle, by the way. Nobody lazy is bad, because there's only about 10 seats in the 10, 12. How many people?
It's 12.
It seats about 12, but there's the guide and everything. So it's like there's just that many people, so everybody needs to pull their weight, right? So yes, they include a lot of like those really cool things as well. So they're quite nice. Between all the different options, there is absolutely no problem in traveling the South Island with public transport and enjoying it thoroughly. A lot of people have been doing that.
Yeah, check out the on NZPocketGuidecom. Check out the travel tips section, then transport, and there you'll have buses as an option. Check that out. There's also various different other transport options you can look at, but yeah, buses is probably the best way to get around New Zealand without a car.
Ipan Gang, which is one of our Patreons, says we are here. Love it, love it, love it, love it. Yeah, where are you at right now? Where are you watching us from? That's so exciting. I just love the fact that we have some of our Patreons right now currently in New Zealand. Also, how was the flight? Because I had to fly all the way from Guam and then coming back. So that was kind of like geographically not the longest distance, but one of the longest flights to get to New Zealand, sadly. So how did you make the flight? How did it go? All right, so Tony Brentnell. Oh, I must have butchered. Tony, let's be on a first name basis together, because I also I'm going to butcher that last name. So Tony and I are very good friends, right? So I know him as Tony. And he says, hello, greetings from California. Says, we are visiting in October. Any change to COVID documentation requirements? Yes, actually, that's the kind of a big news this week in New Zealand. So you no longer need to be vaccinated to enter New Zealand. And this applies to all traveler. But you still have to check with your airline, as a selective airline may have their own policies in there, but the New Zealand government does not require you to be vaccinated. You also do not need to take any COVID-19 tests or to self-isolate when you arrive. However, you will be given, when you arrive in New Zealand, a free rapid antigen test known as RATs at the airport, and you'll be encouraged to do your test on day 5, 6 of your trip and report to there's a government website where you can just report your results there.
And do it on the day you arrive.
Yes, also do one on the day you arrive. So you're encouraged to do that, but you're not even forced to do that no more, which is quite good. Now, when it comes to like the rest of the paperwork that you have to do, so coming from California in the USA, so I'm assuming that you will have a US passport. If you're just coming from a holiday in New Zealand, you don't need to apply for a visitor visa in New Zealand. So you're from a visa-free country. You still need to get an NZETA, which is kind of like a fee to pay to be able to enter New Zealand. And we do have more information on NZ Pocket Guide on that. So you just go on NZPocketGuidecom, type NZETA in the search bar, and you'll have, walk you through all that, and with link directly to a government website. And you also will need to complete a New Zealand traveler declaration form, and you'll be able to do that about a month before coming to New Zealand. Same thing, we do have a lot of information on the website to guide you through what you need to do. That's what we were talking with Bruno about. So that's kind of the extent of what you have to do. So again, no need to be vaccinated, no need to do any test. At the airport, you'll be given some rat tests, and you're encouraged to do them, but you don't even have to do them if you don't want to do them. Paperwork wise, if you have a US passport and you're just coming for holiday, you don't even need to apply for a visa. Just do NZDTA, New Zealand Traveller Declaration Form, and that's pretty much it. We will kind of suggest you to have a traveler insurance just in case, like there is some COVID complications happening to you and that you may need to be dealing with, and if you don't have the funds necessary for yourself to be able to, to help your own self with that. But, that's something that's not even mandatory. It's just something which is encouraged. But that's pretty much it for you, Tony. So pretty easy.
Yeah.
Nice
wrap up. I enjoyed it.
Nice wrap up. Good. All right. While I'm getting a sip of water, because I just talked a lot, what is Weya saying?
Weya says, what would be the estimated weekly cost for 2 people if, let's say, we stay for a certain place for at least a week or so, slow traveling. So estimated weekly cost for 2 people doing slow traveling around New Zealand. Well, let's
pretty easy. Let's go back to NZPocketGuide.com right here. I feel like I've been showing this site like 20 times right now. All right, so if you go on on essential, where's budget? I'm lost. Yeah, here you go. So you go on travel tips, then travel advice, and then budget. And right here, we do have plenty of articles to help you kind of estimate the cost of your trip in New Zealand. So how much does a trip to New Zealand cost? Right here, you have this one. And if you're planning to come backpacking, maybe if you're more on the budget, and it looks like since you're traveling slowly, it's more backpacking. So you have normal trip to New Zealand, working holiday, and then backpacking. So I'm assuming you'll be backpacking, so I'm gonna take that example right here. But if you are doing any of the other, more than welcome to click on the other link when you go there. So again, it's travel tips, and then travel advice, and then budget. Okay, so right here, look at Laura dashingly reflecting on life while looking at the Southern Alps right here. What a dashing lady. I just want to point that out. So we start with a couple of costs before you arrive in New Zealand, but then you want to know your weekly costs. So first up, we start with transportation, and we give you some ideas of prices right here. So you'll be able to get there and choose how you want to travel. So for example, if you do a hop on hop off bus, that'll be the overall cost for your whole trip right here. But if you want to do a national coach bus, a 4-hour bus trip, that'll be kind of those prices. And then you slowly kind of go through everything. You have like hostels and campsite right here. So again, this is more like the backpacking kind of stuff. And then we will have the cost of food and drink. So we go with like what you will find in supermarkets, so you'll be able to kind of cook for yourself. But we also go if you want to eat outside. This is the cost of a Big Mac, a pizza, coffee, Ferg burger, for instance. And then you have the cost of activities. So slowly going through all that, you'll be able to kind of make your budget a little bit. Obviously, we mentioned some free activities because we know that this is what backpackers kind of really want. And so that kind of helps you kind of easily calculate that. If you were to want to just know the cost of like a normal holiday in New Zealand more than just, because we know that backpackers have very flexible budget and flexible things that they want to do. On the how much does it trip to New Zealand cost right here, we literally have straight weekly cost and like weekly budget cost. So it starts straight away. Here's a week in New Zealand. On average, a traveler will spend $2,310 New Zealand dollars. That's basically
per person.
Yeah, per person. That would be kind of like what the average cost will be for somebody traveling in New Zealand. So that here you have like your kind of average cost. Now we see you have all your breakdowns lower as well for you. All right, Laura's back on screen right here. Okay, what is my best friend Tony saying?
Tony says, thank you. Great COVID update. We are doing a 2-week trip. Both islands whirlwind car trip. That will be a whirlwind
nice.
Car
That is going to
trip
be
if you're
fast,
doing
mate.
both islands. Woo.
You are going to need to plan tightly, my friends.
Make sure you sleep well.
Yes.
That will be quite the journey, but it'll be awesome. If you've got the stamina to do it, it's great. Yeah.
Yeah, Tony, join us on Patreon if you want some help with planning that trip, because you're going to have to make zero mistakes right here. There's a link below, and you can rewind as well. We talk a bit about Patreon.
Clay is saying, ciao.
Ciao. No Anthony today. Yeah, Anthony was there at the beginning. I think it's just...
That's why we haven't wrapped up this live session
Yes,
yet.
actually, we're late, because Anthony, you failed us right now. We're staying too late. I have to do the Patreon live session. I'm behind on it. Okay, quickly. Weya says, great, thanks a lot, guys. I will browse around your website. Sweet as, and feel free to come back next week at the same time. What is Uhelitingen? Oh my gosh, I can't pronounce that.
They've got a very interesting question saying, hi guys, I read a lot about it's better not to stay too much in Auckland, but do you think it is wise to immediately head to Tauranga or Hamilton if I want to buy a car on the working holiday visa? Thanks for answering.
You really don't need to take too long to buy a car in New Zealand. We actually do have a lot of tips on the website for that. Within a week, you'll be able to do that. So what we usually advise on people on the working holiday visa is to stay about a week in New Zealand. And we actually have a video on this channel, which is your first...
Auckland?
So a week in Auckland, sorry. And we do have a video on this channel with where we walk you through the whole first week of a working holiday in New Zealand. So we usually advise you to have 1 week, 1.5 weeks in Auckland. That's pretty much it. And then head to Hamilton, Tauranga, wherever you feel like going. I will suggest Tauranga, and I will suggest to stay with the good people at Pacific Lodge Backpackers, because they'll find you a job for you. It's so easy. But yeah, it's not sponsored, by the way. It's just I just like those guys a lot. And if you want to make your buying a car very easy process, there are also some great companies that you can be using which have backpacker cars. They will cost you about $7,000, and you have a limited car, like about 3 months, like mechanical warranty, those kind of things. So you have a bit more peace of mind rather than buying it from another backpacker, which yes will be cheaper, but you will have zero peace of mind because they'll be in Germany or wherever they are back once they're done. So yeah, we do have a lot of recommendation on the website, and we're really behind. I have to do the Patreon live session right now. So either join us on Patreon, you get another hour of that right now, or just come back next week, and I'm happy to talk about that a little bit longer, more in depth. I apologize for that, but yeah, stay in Auckland for about 1 week, and then you can head off to Tauranga and Hamilton after that. But yeah, sorry about that, guys. We do have to wrap up, so I'm going to quickly wrap up the question of the day. No jingle, it's the end. But yeah. So I ask you, what kind of how many luggage are you bringing into New Zealand before before your trip? I want to know. And so the overwhelming majority of people will just take one check-in bag and one carry-on.
Makes
That's
sense.
the classic. That works very well. The airlines have brainwashed us the right way. I can't believe we stayed so late and we didn't give ourselves a chance to wrap up. Patreon people, good people of Patreon, I'm sorry we're gonna start the Patreon session late, but literally give me 2 minutes and we're gonna get this one started. Good people of YouTube, well, thank you so much for joining us for yet another live session. We'll be back tomorrow with, thank you Lawrence for reminding us, the 195th live session answering all your questions about traveling in New Zealand. So that is how cool it is. Aisa too says thank you. That's lovely. Thank you very much for taking the time. Thank you everybody for hitting like, for hitting subscribe, for commenting below. You guys are all awesome. And yeah, if you do have questions in between the week and everything, you can also put them in the comment section of any of our videos. And yeah, anytime, Lawrence, you and I are gonna have a chat. Nobody reminds me how old I am. Anyway, thank you very much for joining us, guys. You guys are awesome. Stay safe, and we see you next week.
And the word of the day is
Abraham.
Is that a word? That's a name. It's still a word, I guess.
It's a word. A word is a name. A name is a word.